Happy Friday, friends. So today you are going to need your Volume 2 math book again, and you are going to need that additional practice math workbook, and that is it. Okay, so today we're gonna dig in deeper to what we talked about yesterday. Do you remember what it's called? What is that called that we plotted data points on? A line plot, right? So we're going to just dig in deeper to how to use and read a line plot. So we'll watch a quick little video. We will do some work together. I will send you off on your own, but today you are going to do two things on your own, which I will review at the end. But the last thing you will do on your own is a little quiz on the Savas tile. Okay, friends? All right, let's see what we can learn about line plots.
How can you make and use line plots? Think about this question during the lesson. Anna is measuring the length of her crayons. How can she use a ruler to measure to the nearest fourth inch?
Okay, think about
The distance between each whole number on this ruler is 1 inch. Each blue mark shows 1/4 inch, so each whole inch is divided into 4 1/4 inches. Line up one end of the object with 0. The 10th 1/4 inch mark is closest to the right end of the crayon. So, to the nearest fourth inch, the crayon measures 10/4 inches. What is another way to write 10/4 inches?
All right, so
select your answer.
Let's think about that. So we know that this stands for 2 holes or 2 inches, right? And in between each big number, so in between the 2 and the 3, there is 1/4. Each one of these, so in between the 2 and the 3, it's split up into 4 equal pieces, right? And that stands for 1/4. So if we start at 2 and we jump, that's the same as saying 2 and 1/4. Okay, if we jump one more, what's that the same as? So it goes 1/4, then we would say what? 2/4? So which measurement would it be? Think about that for a minute. It would be 2 and 2/4. 2 whole inches, and then it is on the second 1/4 mark, which makes it 2/4.
This is 2 whole inches and 2 1/4 inches. You can write this as 2 2/4 inches. Anna measured her other 9 crayons. She then recorded the data in a line plot.
A line plot is a way to organize data on a number line.
You can use this line plot to see that the crayon length that occurred most often was 2 3/4 inches. The crayon length that occurred least often was 2 2/4 inches.
All right, so that's kind of what we talked about yesterday, that we know the line plot that has the longest number of dots, the tallest tower, is going to be the one that occurred the most, right? And then the one that has the least amount of dots, or the smallest little tower, is the one that occurred the least amount, right? But then remember, I said that sometimes they're going to trick you and they might say, what was the longest length of crayon? Well, don't look at the dots to answer that. You want to look and see the longest length will always be on the right. The shortest length will always be on the left, okay? But coincidentally, the longest length here also has the longest tower. But sometimes that does not happen. Most times it won't. Okay, so make sure you have that in your brain for your quiz today after all of our work. All right, so go ahead and get your volume 2 math book. And while I am sharing my screen with you, that lucky number 2, right? I want you to turn to page 463. 463. All right, so here we go with page 463. We are going to practice measuring. We are going to practice putting that on a line plot and then answering some questions about the data on the line plot. All right, so let's go ahead and start with, question number 3, okay? And it's a little blurry, so give me a minute to focus. You can be reading question 3. Draw a line plot to show the data, okay? Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to come up with a title. Length of Sandy's pencils in inches. We can shorten that a little bit. Length of pencils. Okay, the next thing we wanted to do is start our line plot. We want to remember that on the left side is always the smallest measurement. Which one is the smallest measurement? 5 1/4, right? Okay, so then what's the next one? What would come next? 5 2/4. 5 3/4. And then our greatest measurement length is what? 6 inches. Okay, so what's our next step? We look at our points and we plot them. Remember what I told you, once you plot it, cross it off. Also make note of how many data points we need to have. How many measurements were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at the end, you should have 5 data points, right? All right, so we've got 5 1/4. We find that on our line plot and we make our dot, then we cross it off. Now we have 5 3/4. Plot it, cross it off. We have another one, 5 1/4. Plot it, cross it off. Then we have what? 6. And what's our last one? 5 2/4. Okay. So what length occurred the most? Circle it. What length occurred the most? Well, remember, the most is going to be the tallest tower, right? So the length that occurred the most was 5 1/4. And then we're kind of at a tie between the least here, right? And we know this is our smallest measurement and this is our greatest measurement. Okay, we don't need to do number 4. Let's go ahead and look at number 5. Daisy measured the length of her toy dinosaurs to the nearest 4th inch. She listed the make a line plot to show the so we got our data. Now we need to make the line plot. What could our title be? Toy dinosaurs? Or length of dinos. Let's do that. Okay, now we want to make our line plot and we want to think about what's the smallest number. Remember, we have to put them in order from the smallest number over here on the left and the greatest number on the right. Which one is the smallest, guys? Go ahead write it down. It would be 1, right? Okay. And then what's going to come next? Which one would be the next smallest? All right, well, I'm seeing 1 2/4. And then I'm seeing 1 3/4. And then our greatest is what? 2 1/4, right? Okay, so now let's plot it. 1 2/4, plot it, cross it off. 2 1/4, plot it, cross it off. 1 inch, plot it, cross it off. 1 2/4, another one, plot it, cross it off. 1 3/4, plot it, cross it off. Make sure we didn't check here, but let's make sure. We should have how many data points? 1 2 3 4 5. Check your line plot. Do you have 5? 1 2 3 4 5. Do the disco. Nice job. All right. On number 6, they want us to make another line plot. I think we're pretty good at this, but I want you to look at these 2 dinosaurs, and I want you to think of the measurement. So this brown dinosaur, how long is this brown dinosaur? Remember, we lined it up with the 0, and we look to where it's ending. So this brown dinosaur is how long? 1 inch, right? All right, this one's a little tricky though. Do you remember how many equal spaces are in between our whole numbers? So in between 0 and 1, remember we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember, each one of these is the same as 1/4, right? So if we look at our green dinosaur, it's a little bit past the 2. Go ahead and write the length of the green dinosaur. You can just write it right here. What would it be? Well, we know it's past the 2, and then it's right here, and each one of these is the same as what? 1/4, right? So that would be 2 1/4. Okay, guys? All right, let's flip it over. We're going to do a couple more together. Already made a line plot to show the number of inches that different snails crawled in a 5-minute race. What was the most common distance that the snail crawled? So here's their line plot, the most common. So that means which one occurred the most? What distance had the most? That's where we can look at the longest tower. Where is the longest tower? Circle it. Yes. So the distance that occurred the most was 9 1/4 inches. Okay? All right, let's look at number 8. We're gonna have to put our thinking caps on for this one. How many more? Do you remember what that means? What does that mean? How many more? What? I can't hear you. Say it loud. You should be saying what? Subtraction. So our mind needs to pay attention because that's a red flag that we're going to need to subtract. So how many more snails crawled a length more than 8 3/4 inches than the length less than 8 3/4 inches? All right. That one's a little confusing. So let's think about that one again. How many more snails crawled a length more than 8 3/4 inches? All right, here's 8 3/4. So how many snails crawled more than that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 crawled more than 8 3/4. How many crawled less than 8 3/4? All right, well, here's 8 3/4. So we've got to go left and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we said how many more is subtracting? What would you get for that? All right, well, there's more on the top. No need to stop. 9 minus 6 equals 3, and 1 minus nothing equals 1. So our answer is 13. Okay, and here is the last one today before I send you off on your own. Tanya is making headbands. She recorded the lengths of all the blue bows she purchased for the headbands. Tanya also purchased 4 red bows with the lengths of 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 1 2/4 inches, and 1 2/4 inches. Record the lengths of Tanya's red bows on the line plot. All right, I'm going to give you a minute to try that one. So we have 4 new data points. We have 1 inch, we have 1 1/4 inch, we have 1 2/4 inch, and 1 2/4 inch. They want you to plot these on this line plot. Do it now. I hope you're remembering. Once you plot it, cross it off. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds and then we'll check it. All right, so our first one is 1 inch. So we're going to add 1 more data point, right? And cross it off. Our second one is 1 1/4. We're going to add 1 more data point and cross it off. Our third one is 1 2/4. We're going to find that, add our data point, cross it off. And our fourth one is also 1 2/4. So we are making sure that we have now 2 for 1 inch, 3 for 1 1/4 inch. How many for 1 2/4? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, guys? So hopefully you feel pretty good to work on your additional practice workbook page. So make sure you have your additional practice workbook page. And I want you to find 151. These are going to be the same types of problems we just did together, okay? So you are going to answer number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Okay, flip it over. Number 5. Now this one, guys, you have to make a line plot, but there are a lot of data points. So let's make sure we know how many dots you're going to have on your line plot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You better have 18 dots on your line plot. And then I want you to do number 6 and number 10. If you want to do this with mom and dad, that is perfect, because this, guys, is a refresher, because when you are done with this, you should feel pretty confident and you should be able to take your quick check on Savas, okay? So you're going to answer the questions on page 151. Mom and dad can be there. They're not telling you the answers, but they can kind of help you with it. And then when you are all done and you feel pretty good, you might need to take a break for a little bit. And then you're going to log on to Savas and you are going to take the 12-7 quick check. And that's going to be a test grade. Okay. All right. Good job. I will talk to you later. Have a fabulous Friday. Bye.